Oh, hello there. I'm just working out my guns, but now let's work out your legal studies guns. Okay, today's video we're talking about dot point 3 of the study design, the rights of the accused. Okay, so what do you get if you're accused of a crime? What kind of protections are in place for you? There are a bunch of different protections, but today we're going to look at the three mandated in the study design. The first one is the right to be tried without an unreasonable delay. The second one is the right to a fair hearing, and the third one is the right to trial by jury. You need to be able to explain each one in depth and, of course, relate it back to the principles of justice. Okay, so how are they protecting or not protecting justice or achieving justice? Okay, so the first one we're going to look at today is the right to be trialed without unreasonable delay. Okay, so if you are accused of a crime, you have the right to have your charges heard, gone through the court in a timely manner. Any delays that should occur should be reasonable. So if we're going to have a delay, it should be something that might improve your case, okay? Maybe calling up more witnesses, maybe needing more time to prepare certain documents, okay? So it must be a reasonable delay in order for the case to be heard in a relatively timely manner. Due to the complexity of cases, the longer the time may take for the trial to be complete. Okay, so the length of a trial will depend on how complex a case is. Okay, so we're talking about complexity. Okay, with the right to trial by unreasonable delay, this right is considered without discrimination. Okay, so regardless of your prior history, whether you've been in court before, or if you come from a different background, you should be able to have this right without any type of discrimination against you. Additionally, if you're a child, a vulnerable person under 18 who's accused of a crime, your trial is considered to be brought before the court as quickly as possible, and the idea is to reduce any type of impacts it might have on the child's well-being. Okay, court cases can take a fairly long time, so we're trying to reduce any type of trauma on the child. The second right is the right to a fair hearing, and there are kind of two parts to this. The first part is the accused has the right to have their charge heard by a competent, independent, impartial court. So what this means is your judge or magistrate should be qualified and should be able to listen to your trial in an unbiased and fair manner. The second part of a fair hearing is this idea that it is public. So it's open to the public. And the idea here is that most court cases are open to the public to ensure that trial processes are transparent, so understood, and not hidden in secrecy. So allowing the public to access what is happening in the court system or what is happening in our legal system. There are cases in which you may be excluded from a courtroom. Normally, this would involve someone who might be vulnerable or a vulnerable participant. But as a general rule, court cases are open to the public so that we can understand transparency, and court cases must be heard by a judge who is impartial. The last right is the right to trial by jury. Okay, this right is enshrined in the Criminal Procedures Act 2009, and it requires anyone who has been charged with an indictable offence in Victoria who has not pled guilty to have their trial heard by a jury. So a summary offence, you don't need a jury. In this case, the right to trial by a jury only applies to an indictable offence. The right to trial by jury involves a group of 12 jurors who are selected at random on the electoral roll, and the idea behind that is to ensure that it is a mix of the community, so it's open and transparent. The right to trial by jury aims to allow a jury to come together to listen to all the evidence and decide whether or not the accused is guilty or not guilty. All right, that is it today. Enjoy your afternoon or morning.